indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the March meeting for the Town of Philipstown Town Board. Review of the minutes. Public hearing, abandonment of right-of-way, January 18th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye. Weekly Town Board meeting of January 18th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye. Public hearing of February 8th, 2017, CCA local law.
So moved.
Sorry.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And aye.
I was absent for that meeting.
All right, thanks, Bob. Monthly Town Board meeting of February 16th, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye. Committee reports, Conservation Board.
Okay, the Conservation Board's meeting in February was discussed at our last town meeting. Pretty much what we've done since then, though, was Carl, friends from Highway, also Max Garfinkel, who's the wetlands inspector, and myself have been meeting to fill out the MS4 annual stormwater report. This is done every year. This year is a little more challenging because we had a number of the players that had changed out during the year, which is, I don't know if it's ever happened that much so fast. So obviously we have to find out a lot of the different records. Some of the things that we look at, of course, is education, procedure adherence, storm basin inspections, cleaning. By the way, the MS4 is mainly comprised in the Continental Village section of the town. This involves a series of stormwaters, and what you look for is to ensure that no illegal dumping, no discharges are occurring there, and obviously the water is flowing properly. It does butt up against two other towns, Putnam Valley and Cortland, which are also MS4 as well. And then obviously what we're doing is getting the report ready to have Rich Shea review the report and its information this month, later this month, with the game plan, hopefully to be able to schedule it for the April Town Board meeting to be accepted, then schedule a public hearing, and then take any comments from that or anything additional, and then finalize the report by the middle of May, and then, of course, have it submitted no later than June 1st. All right, so let's just give you a rundown what's happening on that. In addition to that, we're also taking a look at steps for next year, for this year. This runs actually from March to March. So we're taking a look at some additional items such as stormwater markings and so forth. We are taking a look at some educational courses. Max is not able to make a DEC course that's coming up in Middletown. Maybe possibly Carl and or myself will go to that, at least to be able to, because what they do is, even though it's really geared for engineers, higher levels, and people like Max's expertise, there's a lot of information given as to what they look for, what's a good program, what's considered best in class, and so forth. So that's probably something we will recommend for us to attend. So going forward, for right now at least, it'll be the three of us looking at this program, and we're looking also to do some additional educations of it. We will be on March 9th, next Thursday actually, at Continental Village Clubhouse at 8 o'clock. There will be the annual stormwater management meeting, which we had last year on April 21st. This is a large audience. Of course, the MS4 is mostly in that area anyway, but we will discuss any issues you might have involving conservation. The wetlands inspector will be there as well with me, and we'll be able to either, answer any questions you have. If there's something that we don't know, we will get back to you. We'll take your name and get back to you as well. But it is a town-wide, even though it is occurring there. We do it there because we have other things to cover, and we get a pretty decent audience. I mean, we had 64 people last year, so it's attended very heavily. So that's in the town. So that's where we take advantage of that. And our next Conservation Board meeting is on March 14th.
Thanks, Mike. Recreation.
Recreation. I attended the February 28th meeting of the Rec Commission. Minutes and financial reports were read and approved. Amber reported that the summer book will be available next week, and that the registration will open on this one.
Give that to Richard. Richard, and Mike doesn't want. So use Nancy's.
Good?
No, you're good.
Okay.
Read it.
Amber reported that the summer book will be available next week and that registration will open on March 13th. The senior luncheon was well attended with 102 seniors attending. The Winter Carnival was a success despite no ice on the rink. Thankfully, the snow 3 days before the carnival made for great sledding at Winter Hill. The commission is exploring the upgrading of the website to allow for online registration. The commission discussed mandatory coach training for all coaches. This will be brought to the town board in the near future for discussion. Amber also reported that the town park is scheduled to open on April 22nd. The next meeting of the rec commission is scheduled for March 28th.
Thanks, John. We're going to skip recycling since we know that's running fine. Planning board.
Planning board. Okay, the planning board was held on February 16th, 7:30 Butterfield Library. I attended that after we left our meeting that evening. They had a pretty full agenda. The first thing on the agenda was Griffin Landscaping. They've been in front of the planning board for the last several months. There was a public hearing the following month. This past month, they decided just to have the public hearing closed. There's still more to come on that. Nothing has been approved up there as of right now. The next item on the agenda was a Paul and Ellen Johnson of 4 Highland Ridge, Cold Spring. Their site plan was approved. They've been before the planning board the last several months as well, but they're all set to go. Third on the agenda was Christine Sorensen, 1,000 Albany Post Road, Garrison, returning to the planning board after seeking a zoning board of appeals approval for lot line adjustment and receiving 2 variances for the front yard setback and yard coverage. The planning board declared to be intent the lead agency and scheduled a public hearing for next month's meeting, which was March 16th. Fourth on the agenda was Manitoga Properties, which is the old Plum Bush, which, as you know, that's been converted to a school over the last several years. They've been in business. They seem to be doing very well. They're we at the planning board looking to build a big addition over 3,000 square feet. I'm sorry, over 6,000 square feet, and that would contain a gymnasium, classrooms, storage area, and auditorium as well. The gymnasium and auditorium will be a combination. The board declared it to be a major project, and they're planning a site visit for March the 5th. Other on the agenda was Stonecrop Gardens up in Stonecrop, as everyone's aware, they're up off of 301. They had an addendum site plan to rebuild a building that was destroyed by a fire a few years ago and to increase the parking for better handicap accessible. The space is to be used as a welcome center as well as office space and a lecture room and workshop and bathrooms. The height of the building is beyond the requirements, so they're going to have to go for a variance will be required. A site visit is also planned for March 5th, which is this coming Sunday. David and Johanna Brunner of 530 East Mountain Road South, a single-family residence with a breezeway garage and over 3,000 square foot home. They did receive a building permit, but now they're making a little bit of a change. Originally, they did not have the breezeway and garage attached into the house, so now they're combined. Everything's going to be attached. The planning board approved their plan. The next planning board, as already indicated, is March 16th, 7:30, Butterfield Library.
Thanks, Bob. Zoning.
Zoning has not met since our last meeting.
Lucky you. Highway.
Highway, I have that also.
Yeah.
Philipstown Town Board members from Carl Frazenda, Highway Superintendent. January brought in a new Highway Department deputy. Welcome, Adam Hoteling. Adam has been with the crew since 1998 and is no stranger to the workings of the department. He is adjusting into his new position with ease, and everyone looks forward to working together to keep things running smoothly. Due to several ice storms this month, the highway crew has been out salting and sanding roads. When possible, they continue to grade dirt roads, fill potholes on paved roads, and clear waterways. While out checking the roads during the January ice storm, the department's car was damaged and totaled. Fortunately, Carl was not injured. On a good note, the insurance settlement plus the money received from selling off old equipment will be enough to replace the new vehicle without dipping into our budget. It was purchased through New York State Vehicle Marketplace, a competitive betting system. February. Every once in a while, a meteorologist accurately tracks a big storm. Such was the case with the winter storm Nico, which dumped over a foot of snow in Philipstown on February 9th. The highway crew was prepared, and their hard work efforts had roads in good shape shortly thereafter. Just 3 days later, winter storm Orson followed somewhat by surprise. The storm included strong winds, gusts up to 50 miles per hour, as the crew worked diligently for 16 straight hours, making sure all the roads were safe and passable. The Avery Road Bridge project went out to bid the second week of February, and we will know who was awarded the bid very soon. We are still waiting on permits for work to begin on the Manitou Station Road. The department received 40 phone calls in January and February regarding road complaints and issues. Spending for vehicle and equipment maintenance for January and February was approximately $10,000, above monthly accounts submitted by Carl Frazenda, Highway Superintendent.
The fact that we don't have the permits yet for Manitou Station isn't stopping us from going ahead with all the pre-planning, though. As you'll see, there's an agenda item involving Manitou Station tonight. So, building and land, I was scheduled to meet with the Marvin rep today, but he didn't get in touch with me, so I imagine I'll be meeting with him either tomorrow or Monday. But we're going to measure the windows in this place, and since we have a grant for $50,000 from Senator Susurino, we're going to go ahead and replace these windows. They need it, as we can see with the cardboard over there. Cemetery Committee.
Okay, the Cemetery Committee's February meeting was discussed at our last town meeting. One of the assignments we did go for to looking to change, and we started looking at drafts, is a temporary sign in the Mountain Avenue Cemetery. Thanks to Kim Connors as well, helping us out with that. We're looking to obviously catch some attention. There's obviously, to place it obviously near where the school entrance is. Some things such as some of the old names for the cemetery, for instance, God's Acre, Old Cold Spring, and Mountain Avenue were some of the names for it. Also to let people know that that cemetery dates back to the 1750s, all right, which is quite, has a great deal of history in it. And yes, and mention, of course, the fact that we have been in the process of doing restorations, so one of the actual stones in there restored and so forth. Also, some information, if anyone would like information or to donate, you can donate currently sending in a check to the town, asking for it to be placed in the for cemetery renovations, okay? And then also, that's one of the things we will be, even though we're not required, we will be running the sign itself through the Historic Society to ensure that it's okay, but we will be very mindful of that as well. The next county cemetery meeting is on March 8th. It's my hope that we will be getting an answer, since this is another record year for sales tax for the county, that the reason they took the $4,000 and dropped it from $12,000 to $8,000 for 6 towns, hopefully they can find the $4,000 back now that they have, a record year for sales tax. And the next meeting of the Cemetery Committee is March 14th.
Thank you, Mike.
Mike, can I ask you a question about the donations? We can earmark that for cemeteries. Now, we know that that's okay, because I'm looking to do that with the coalition as well. I know I could do it with grant applications, but I
We've taken private money and we just earmark it, either that or we set up, if it's substantial, we set up an account.
Okay.
A line item account.
I'm sure we could do this, and
Yeah, we've taken private donations many times. We
Okay.
took private donations for the townwide cleanup, things like that, so.
Yeah, we even had a check transferred from the village to us because they don't handle the cemeteries, we do as the town. But I sat with Susan Kenny, obviously the GoFunding, or we're still waiting for the Historic Society to get back to us. We really don't want to create a 501c because of the
coalition
issues.
doesn't either.
3C, because it's involved, and so we're trying to avoid that. But at the same time, we're waiting an awful long time to get private donations, because we really could move forward on the General Morris script if we were to get some. We really want to start to redo that, the fencing on top, to restore that. Because Betty Budney, who did a lot of work there,
Yeah.
that was just too much to take on in one shot. That's
Yeah.
not a cheap thing.
Oh, it was the Sons of the Revolution
Yes,
that
yeah,
provided the
yes. The
funding for the first round of,
Yep,
because that thing had actually collapsed and they had it rebuilt.
right, yep.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Butterfield Library.
I might repeat repeat some of my stuff from last month, so I apologize. I realized I sent you my notes instead of my actual report, so I apologize for that. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of going to Albany with another trustee of mine and joining 800 other library supporters to advocate for libraries. We met with Sue Serino and an intern from Sandy Galiff's office, and we had a lot of good conversations. The one problem for libraries this year is that we've been cut. There's been a 4% increase to education, which I'm all for. I support education, but libraries are education as well, and not limited to a certain age group. Where from literally cradle to the grave, you can come to library. And yesterday, a lot of people were saying, it's the poor man's college, but to me, it's every man's college. So it was an important day for us. So if anybody wants to support libraries, just go to butterfieldlibrary.org, and there's information on how you can contact your legislators. We are partnering with the Howland and Desmond Fish Library to bring the community a small business workshop series. There will be 6 total workshops, 2 at each library. So it's just a great way for people, all different aspects, marketing, small business plan. So even if you don't have to go to all 6 of them, one of them might speak to somebody. So that's something I just really want to get out. If you want more information, go to our website. Again, I last month sent some information about a renovation to the children's room that we're ready to start. We're really just going to take down walls that are encasing a half of a staircase that go nowhere. So it's wasted space from a project a long time ago. So we received $50,000 from Sandy Galiff, another $6,000 from Sue Serino, and about $25,000 through New York State construction grants for libraries. So it's really exciting. So right now it's all funded through grant money, which is exciting. I just want to highlight a couple of our annual report statistics. Last month I completed our New York State report on libraries. We have 3,157 active, and that means they've used their card in the last 2 years, members of the library. We added 5,877 items to our collections, and many of those are digital items that you do not need to come into the library to access. That's the most beautiful thing I think that's happened with libraries, with technology, is that you no longer have to come into our building to access a lot of the information that we buy. We circulated over 45,000 items last year. And we opened our doors to over 85 community organizations, agencies, clubs, and groups to use our space.
Including us.
Yes, and we're very happy to do so. So, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Jill. Thanks.
Okay, the first item on the agenda, a resolution authorizing Supervisor Shea to sign the change order in connection with the Manitou Station Road project, and this is Nunk-Pro-Tunk.
All right, this is to keep that project moving down there. We do need to mark the wetlands. Mike knows that. So, as in this unnecessary part of the project, I went ahead and okayed that. I hope the board will support that action. I know we're all anxious to see Manitou Station Road raised up and that project completed. So, could I get a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Would I? This change order was for $3,400, so $3,400.
Fortunately, we've had no major storms where they've been inaccessible. Yeah, knock wood, exactly.
And Carl did reach out to the congressman's office the congressman's office sent out a wish list asking for, needs.
Right.
And this is a difficult project, and I know we've tried in the past to find money for it, but we'll keep searching.
We tried with Putnam County and we tried with
Yeah.
Metro North, both of
I
whom
did,
turned us down.
I did bring it up in writing to the Putnam County, the Traffic Safety Board, that we couldn't go to, but I said that's, it's an issue that we continue to struggle with.
I got to say that was a maddening process. And when I see, the former highway super just completely lose his temper at a meeting, I knew things had come to an end. I mean, it was just, we met no fewer than 12 times with the county. We spoke with Metro North in conference calls, in person. It got to the end where the rubber hits the road. We have a plan. We have a price. We have an engineering firm picked. We're ready to move ahead. And we hear from the county, let's keep talking. It's like,
Just for clarity, the road, the county's part of it, they don't own the road, but
They own the wetland to the south.
They own they own property in
The
Metro.
thing that is causing
Which is
the
what's
problem.
flooding
And Metro, it affects the MTA, it affects Metro North and.
Well, Metro North uses our road to bring heavy equipment across, access their track bed there. They're in and out of there a lot.
That's a good point too.
So I mean,
You stand there in August, and it's dry for weeks, and you look at that culvert, and they're filled. That
Right,
tells
the
you
one-
right
the
there,
wetland.
it can't hold
it's,
anything.
it's blocked at the
Yeah.
other end. I mean, everybody. So, at any rate, we're not shirking our responsibility. We're
No.
going ahead to resolve this.
It's a lot of money for us.
It is a lot of money for us to shoulder alone. Yes.
Okay, the next item is a resolution authorizing Supervisor Shea to sign the Philipstown Highway Department's CSEA contract for fiscal years beginning January 1st, 2017 through and including December 31st, 2021. And this is a roll call vote.
So I want to thank Councilman Van Tassel for sitting in on the negotiations and helping out with that. They have a new union rep. Obviously, there was a lot of back and forth. There isn't any big changes to the contract from before. The guys were looking for raises. They got cost of living raises set at 2% over the next 5 years. Beyond that, not a lot has changed. There were some things that we wanted in from the highway superintendent, including job classification, probationary employees, and the chain of command when the highway super, if he were absent, and the deputy highway super were also absent. But not a lot of big changes in the agreement. So with that, I would entertain a motion on the resolution to authorize me to sign the contract.
Can I just say,
Yes.
you know, the crew that came from the highway department was very easy to work with. They negotiated very well. They were gentlemen, and I think we're fortunate to have the crew that we do have there.
Yeah, there was no hard feelings. I mean,
Everybody understands the process. Right?
yeah, nobody took it personally when we
Right.
said no.
It was very well, right.
So, all right, could I get a motion on the resolution?
So moved.
Councilman Flaherty,
Yes.
Councilman Leonard,
Aye.
Councilman Montgomery,
Aye.
Councilman Van
I
Tassel,
vote aye.
and I vote aye. There we have it.
Next item is a discussion with regard to a proposal from Taconic Heating and Cooling for a hydro air heating and air condition equipment replacement for the second floor of the town hall.
So everyone's well aware that when this unit comes on, it's loud. It's 30-plus years old.
Dims all the lights in Cold Spring.
It's inefficient. It leaks. It's got everything going for it. So, you know, we've had various schemes and things like that. We did have to kind of come up and take a look at their local HVAC outfit to replace it. I would like to get another person to come down and take a look at it, but it's my feeling that it's time to replace this unit. You know, the whole system. It's completely shot. I mean, it's run its useful life. Along with that, I would also like to look at the first floor, getting a system put in downstairs so we're no longer using window air conditioners, that we could potentially put in either mini splits in the offices that would supplement the heat, or a ducted system. I don't know how we would.
Through the basement, maybe.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, a lot of times you're going to want something up a little higher, but with air conditioning, you generally want it up high. But I don't know how everybody feels about that. We do have some money in buildings, and I think we could also take some of the money out of the sale of the VFW to put toward it. And we're going to be doing a large bond for the town hall annex. We had the bond come off for that building, for the purchase of that building, so that line is open now. We need to do some work on this building. We're going to replace the windows. We're going to do something with the siding on the outside. I think we really ought to take a look at removing all the siding and blowing in cellulose or blowing in something in these walls, because this is just, it's an untenable situation now, so.
I mean, are we that far off from completely renovating this building? This is just the beginning, I would think. And
Yeah.
do we want a master plan, which we kind of have already?
Yeah, I mean, this system,
It'll stay.
It'll have
regardless.
independent utility regardless. So if it goes in, it'll stay.
It's not going to affect any kind
No,
of.
so I mean, it would,
renovations.
if we were looking at doing a larger scale renovation, which we are, in some respects, we're talking about putting the elevator in, moving the staircase.
Wouldn't affect the elevator.
No, no, because that unit is up here and that entire system is serviced from above.
Oh, okay.
So it's all up in the attic. We had a nice trip up in the attic. It was,
Wow. Did you fall through? Is that why those panels are missing over there?
uh,
Did you fall through?
no, we were looking at the unit over there, so.
Well, I would agree, the systems are outdated the day they're put in, so something that's 30 years old is certainly an antique, so.
Yeah, and I think we
efficiency of
we
it.
would recognize some savings in the
Oh, yeah.
electric use, because this thing just draws like nobody's business.
I definitely think, like I said, I think we need to look downstairs as well, especially in the town clerk's office as well, because that's, we maybe not touch the building department, because, that's gonna be changing.
Right, we're gonna be
But maybe
changing that
something,
area.
definitely look at those 2 offices downstairs to get rid of those window units, especially if we're gonna be putting new windows in. I don't wanna be putting a new window in and having an air conditioner
No.
like that sticking out of it like that.
No, we could
Just-
go about it, systematically saying, maybe we put a mini split in the clerk's office, and then we have an operable system in there that's
Right, that's what I'm thinking.
Go in there to get
Right.
cool.
slightly.
No,
Right.
at least start there after the windows are in, get that room done,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and then you could control the heat better in there. You can control the whole system, and I know the ladies would appreciate it. How do you feel about this? And a show of hands from the clerk's office. Could I see who approves?
If you remove all that tape, you'll have the wall collapse.
This is true. We'd have to have a structural engineer look at the tape down there on the windows. Yes, Kim.
So if you put mini splits in, does that have to be approved by the Historic District Review Board, or is the town outside of that?
They go inside the building.
Well, the unit goes outside.
Well, the unit goes outside, but we.
But I don't think they would oppose the window unit hanging out the window currently, and the tape.
I mean, we're going to run things by the Historic Review Board. We just sit down with them as we did with the last round for the Town Hall Annex. It's a courtesy between municipalities, so we definitely want to observe that. I don't think, it seems like common sense was prevailing there, so I'm not worried about that. But it's a good point. So with that, I'm going to call the local guy here, Comfort Master, have him come down.
Okay, so we're not gonna approve this then.
No, we wouldn't
Okay.
approve this tonight, but get an idea from him and then, take a look downstairs at the mini splits, or at least one for the clerk's office for now.
Yeah.
We do have 2 windows down there to replace, so we'll do that also. But that's
Okay, so we'll
part of the
table
building, so
this-
we'll table this for
Table
now.
this for now, yeah.
It was just a discussion anyway.
Right, yeah. Do you want to go to 6 first before we?
Then I have, okay. No, 5. Code Enforcement Monthly Report. Fees collected, $9,170.40. 8 permits issued. 2 additions, alterations, or repairs to residential buildings. 6 all other permits, pools, sheds, decks, plumbing, HVAC. 8 COs issued. 1 stop work order issued, and 2 inspections of commercial occupancies.
I might continue to get good feedback on Greg. I mean, everybody who has interaction with him loves the guy, so I think we just really got fortunate in getting him, stealing him away from Fishkill.
I actually, I called him the other day. I don't know if you've noticed on Route 9, just north of Nicola's, there's now like 100 cars stored in the backyard of that once was a
Neve Landscaping.
pool
or
company,
Neve
right.
Pools.
Oh, really?
So he went up and looked into it, and it's Poughkeepsie Nissan is storing cars in the backyard. So, so he's approached them, and they're going to come in and apply for a planning board permit. I was just driving up, and I was like, "There's an awful lot of cars in
They'll be
that
visiting.
backyard."
Do they have a car for the highway super they could sell us?
I doubt it, but so there was. He said it was like between 60 and 100
You don't get
cars
a
in the
car.
park. Yeah, in the backyard, like stored.
But our code calls for 2.
Yeah, well, it's a commercial unit, but so they're going to come in and apply for the proper permit.
As they should, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Thanks.
I sent an email off to Attorney Cinque also regarding the Ventura property to see about the disposition of that. What's the holdup with us enforcing the judgment that we got in our favor? So it's because it's not getting any better there.
Mountains are getting higher.
Or it's worse.
Yeah,
It's got a lot of material in there.
you know, so
Very early in the morning, there's a lot of traffic in and out of there.
people do not appreciate it, neither do we, so.
It's like so close to the wetlands.
He's in it.
He's in
Yeah,
it.
he's gotta be in it.
DEC and DEP were out there. I don't understand why they're not pursuing this. We're gonna get in a joint discussion though soon and find out. But we've been to court over this for 2 years, and the judgment came down in our favor, so I don't know why we can't enforce the
Start
judgment.
naming that ridge or something.
Well, yeah,
It's like Lingate Ridge there.
yeah, we're gonna get a,
Big.
we're gonna wind up getting an injunction is what we're gonna get, so.
Thanks.
All right,
Okay, the next item is a resolution authorizing Supervisor Shea to sign a municipal energy service agreement between the town and Cholet Assets Incorporated of 2 Depot Plaza, Suite 402, Bedford Hills, New York.
so we had a public hearing on a law which would allow us to participate in a community choice aggregation program. All of Westchester County has done this. They're the first one in the state to do it. Currently, the company that manages the Westchester program is Joule. There are 2 other companies in the state that aren't in the area. One is a nationwide company that we haven't heard from. The recommendation from the group that brought this to us was to go with Joule. We had a meeting with the supervisor of Fishkill, town of Fishkill, Bob Lacola, Mayor Randy Casal from Beacon, and town of Philipstown together this week on Monday up in Beacon to discuss who we were comfortable going with. We all came out of the room saying that we would like to go with Joule. They've been here several times. They already do Westchester County, so they're well-versed in the whole handling of it. Their price, it doesn't impact what we pay, but their price, what they get is lower than the other 2 companies also. They get 8/100ths of 1 cent per account, so they're, it all seemed to come together. It pointed to Joule. So if we're going to go ahead with this, we do need a company to administer the program. This is the next step in doing that. Then they'll go out and they'll, do all the research and bring back the pricing scheme to us that then we'll have to adopt. So with that, I would entertain any discussion from the board or,
No, I think
I think it's the right
they're
thing
pretty
to do.
qualified, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all you need.
yep. I think it's going to be a great program. I mean, we're going to be some of the first 3 municipalities, barring Westchester, to be doing this in the whole state of New York. So it's good to lead. We were trying to get more people on board, or another municipality, another 2 municipalities. We're trying to get the town of Wappingers, city of Poughkeepsie, town of Poughkeepsie on board, and the village of Fishkill, strangely, didn't want to get on board. They're all holding on until they see what happens. So it's not, in my estimation, it's not leadership to wait, but we actually have hit a critical mass with numbers between our 3 municipalities. It's been great working more closely with, town of Fishkill and city of Beacon, being that they're our closest neighbors. And, it's all around for us. It's been a great experience. Bottom line is people are going to get a better rate on their electricity, and the goal is to get that to come from renewable resources.
And the other thing is, you can opt out.
And if you aren't,
no
if you aren't a
penalty.
fan of this for some reason, you can opt out.
Reason you don't want to be.
Public hearing the other night on this
Right.
as well.
So we're hoping Village of Cold Spring is going to come right down. I'm sure they're going to join
Yeah,
in.
it sounds like they
Yeah.
will.
I,
I mean,
yeah. Pardon me too, because they did have a representative there. Trustee Velotto, Steve Velotto was there. So
What about Nelsonville? Do they have to get on board too? Is that,
that's a good
have
question.
they been asked?
Good
And what about
question.
notification once we're ready to
There
go?
will be a notification goes out to every person in
Like
town.
Jewel will do that? or-
Yes. No,
we
that's
don't
no
have to-
no
no.
cost to the
Oh,
town.
great.
None of this costs the town
all
anything.
administrative stuff.
Yeah. So that's what the administrator will do.
Great.
Nice.
They'll notify everybody.
Yep. So, but everyone, if we decide to go forward, everyone in the town of Philipstown will go into the program. In order to get out, you have to opt out of the program. Why you would opt out of saving money and having your electricity come from a renewable resource, that would be peculiar. But at any rate, with that, I would entertain a motion on a resolution authorizing me to sign the municipal energy service agreement between the town of Philipstown and Jewel Assets.
So moved.
Second.
Sorry.
All in favor? Should this be roll call, Tina?
You can if you want to.
All right. Councilman Van Tassel.
Aye.
Councilwoman Montgomery.
Aye.
Councilman Leonard.
Aye.
Councilman Flaherty.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Thank you. There we go.
Yeah.
Great. Right on. Town of Philipstown leading the way.
Can I add something?
Yes.
Okay, we had gotten a request for a proclamation from a resident from Continental Village who is this year's recipient of the Spirit of Community Award from the Support Connection. What he has done was he's worked and bringing awareness to this worthy cause. Counseling and other support services to women and families affected by breast and ovarian cancer. Gary's involvement, his employer, Wells Fargo, has sponsored numerous events and has also donated nearly $20,000 for community events. So, and his name is, and I hope I get this right, Gary Wojciechowski.
That's a
And
good shot at it.
I tried.
I'll take that.
But if you adopt this proclamation, I'll mail it to Support Connection tomorrow, and they'll present that.
All right. Our thanks to obviously a very active community member for raising awareness and funds,
Gary W.
Gary W. And as I say, you'd never think Krzyzewski was pronounced the way it's spelled, so we could be ruining your name, but we're sorry if we are. But thank you for your work on that. So with that, could I get a motion approving that resolution?
Also move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
And I vote aye. And thank you again, Gary. Mike Leonard and I will be meeting next week with Brian Kenny to sit down and talk about reval, and we're going to move ahead on that also. So we have a lot of big things going on, but
Is that just for Continental Village or?
townwide.
Townwide,
Got to be
okay.
townwide, but the real thrust of this is for Continental Village, or, in fairness to everyone in town. It needs to be done. And
To start it.
it'll be the last thing that we can do as a municipality to aid the people in Continental Village in the Lakeland School District. So in going as far as we possibly can, holding workshops, doing a special assessment in that district 3 years ago, getting all the state representatives here to make them aware, correspondence with Lakeland School District, and following up with a reval. We will have done everything that we can possibly do. It doesn't mean that the issue dies away. We'll definitely support them in their efforts, but it is the last missing piece of the pie. And I know Mike has been spearheading this, and we're going to sit down with Brian and get it going.
So you guys schedule a workshop for that, or just not really?
Not until we get some
Yeah.
fundamentals down. I think it'd be important to
Yeah.
sit down with him first.
Yeah, I spoke to the state rep. We need Brian to give us some guidance on a few things, and then we'll have a direction how to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's different ways to go at this, and we need his expertise to discuss with it.
But we are going ahead. There's no doubt about it. It's
Get ready.
going to happen. So anything else from the board?
This Saturday, Assemblywoman Galiff is having her typical workshops. It'll be at the Desmond Fish Library. One of the things that I'll be asking Sandy is I have a petition from 130 residents. This is an ongoing issue, as Rich just talked about with the taxes. Sandy has been spearheading in the Assembly the ability to seriously take a look at, they are looking at programs such as what's called Circuit Breaker. But the short of the story is, this is a look at, not replacing, but starting to look at taxing in other ways than just through property tax. A lot of people work hard in this town their whole lives. They retire. Naturally, they're going to go on a fixed income. And just to require people to pay off the property alone is an archaic process. A lot of areas are seriously taking a look at it. I will be asking Sandy for the exact bill to submit this petition to, and hopefully Philipstown will be part of it, if it's approved also with the board, to spearhead going forward and seriously taking a look at finding other ways than just property tax. What's this Saturday?
It's a Saturday. I think it's the 4th.
Yes.
And what time?
10 o'clock, 10 to noon. She will be leaving shortly thereafter because Kent follows. That's what she does normally on her schedule. She tries to get both of them in. Yes, on the 4th. So it's 10 to noon at the Fish Library. If you're able to attend and show your support for that or any other issues you might have, she is spearheading a project. She put it in the paper about ethics reform, which I think is quite valid for the Senate and the Assembly. So that's another measure she will be discussing.
I will say Assemblywoman Galef has been one of the most courageous Assembly people in the Assembly, because she's been talking about tax reform for 20 years. I mean, and every year has brought this bill up. She's talked about the circuit breaker for many, many years. And as far as ethics go, she's a model as far as what you should be in your government. Here's someone who just always conducts themselves in the most ethical manner. So she's sort of a lone voice for these things, but she doesn't give up. She keeps going at it and bringing it back. Sooner or later, one of these bills will make it to the floor and at least get an up or down vote. But it's hard to get things even to the floor. And you would think with tax reform in New York State, it wouldn't be so hard. But, there are other ways to get taxes done besides just the straight up property tax. Anything else from the board?
Nope.
Audience? Sandy? Oh. How are you, Eric?
No, I don't have anything, I'm good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Proposal I'd like to pass around to you. So I'm here basically to appeal to our better angel. Two groups have been meeting for the last month or so. One new one called Rise Up New York, and the other one, Citizen Soapbox. And in our last meeting, I put this proposal before them, which is a proposal to amend the Philipstown Town Code with a amendment that would guarantee the right of equal protection to all citizens and all people in our town, regardless of their gender, ethnicity, religion, or immigration status. So I'm putting it before you tonight. I mean, this group, basically, when we did a vote on the most important issues of the day over the last week or so, this gained number one in the group as a local issue for us. And when I looked through the town code, I recognized that or saw that the town code had sections on ethics, on sexual harassment. So why not a section dealing with this essential right of equal protection? The net of this idea is that it is and looks to creating basically a sanctuary city for the township. I think that that's important right now. I think that the people that the government, label as illegal immigrants are our neighbors, our friends, our employees, people we see on an everyday basis, and I think that they deserve to be protected. What this essentially does is forces ICE to operate on their own and without our assistance. Now, I understand that we don't have a police force in town, but so part of this is really well, in the words of William Hellerstein, it really has just a hortatory effect. I mean, it's a call for us, and it is a call to our better angel. I mean, it is a call to infuse our culture with a positive nature and a positive spirit, and to ensure that everyone here, is treated with respect. So I put it before you, and I hope that, it will be put forward to the community. I don't know whether in a public hearing or whatever is necessary to make this possible for us to put into our town code.
All right, thank you, Eric. I did receive this prior to now. Nancy had forwarded it to me. I guess you had given it to Councilman
It
Montgomery.
was an old email you had for him.
Right,
Right,
I
so-
passed it around a little bit, but I didn't know quite sure how to get it up to you officially and how to get it looked at in a broader
This is the best
capacity.
way
Yeah.
to bring it right out in public. I did attend 3 public sessions. The first one was at the Desmond Fish Library with the Congressman Maloney. It seemed like that wasn't part of that group, and then 2 of the group meetings. This was discussed, at length. I thought the forums were great in the second 2 meetings. The last one I attended at St. Philip's was really well conducted. Everyone getting their opportunity to speak, but it moving along really swiftly and coming to some concrete action items. So that's a great way to move. There were a lot of people there, on a Sunday, in excess of 100. So when you see that, that's to be taken seriously. I did have a discussion with Jason Angel subsequent to that about a potential Citizens Bill of Rights. That I think that this and that could be sort of combined to either add to the town code, a town charter. I did send off an email requesting information from our attorney about these items, about what would be the most effective way to proceed. Regarding a police force, the village does have a police force. We do have a police force. We are contracted with the Putnam County Sheriff, but we also have, any number of other police agencies in Philipstown. So when they're in Philipstown, they operate on the Philipstown, barring criminal code, they operate under the Philipstown Town Code. And just to go to something as simple as the parking issue on Indian Brook Road, they weren't able to enforce that until we passed a law. So, they do operate under the laws of Philipstown. So it's that is meaningful. I mean, when you're talking about something as simple as a parking issue, this is a much more complex issue. But
And maybe this is something that should be brought to the county, since it is the county sheriff's department.
Well, my concern is that on this Community Bill of Rights is that this, for me personally, and I think that for this group, this particular issue around equal protection is sort of a salient issue right now with the way that the federal government is operating and the Trump administration encouraging the ICE to be more aggressive. It is my concern that the local sheriff, the county sheriff, has been pretty aggressive apparently about trying to push this federal immigration policy, a new immigration policy forward. So for me, while I'm a champion certainly of the Community Bill of Rights, I'm hoping that maybe if that seems like a larger project, we can probably maybe do it in bits and pieces and maybe push this piece forward. I mean, I don't know what's required here. Maybe you could tell me a little bit what's required in terms of getting something like this down the road. I mean, how it gets embedded into our code.
well, the one thing, if we were going to codify it, it would be like any other law that comes before us. It would be drafted into the form of a law. We would hold a public hearing, and then it would get an up or down vote. That's the short version of it. There are time requirements. Generally, it's 60 days, I believe, for,
It's less because it's not planning or zoning.
okay. So it could be done more rapidly. Having said that, though, I'd rather do a complete job the first time and take a little bit longer. And the Citizens Bill of Rights, we've already fleshed some things out. We're not talking about some huge change. Also looking at institutionalizing that, either making it law or entering it into the town charter, maybe a better form. We'd have to look into founding documents and things like that, which isn't going to be, again, a really lengthy process. Then discuss it at a board, hold public hearings, the whole thing. But that could move along relatively quickly. We're not. in its current form, we'd have to get it off to the attorney and have him review it to get it into a form that would operate as a law.
Well, what I sent you was written by an attorney. It wasn't written by me. I mean, I contributed to it in spirit, but then he wrote it into basically a law that has been looked at by and has been instituted by other townships. Like I said, for me, this is a pressing issue because I don't think that time is of the essence in a way. So I'd like to be able to push along. I mean, I unfortunately, the rest of my better angels are not here tonight, but because I just sort of decided, well, okay, I should just go down. This is the town meeting. I should just put it out there and see and find out what was necessary to get the ball rolling.
So the ball is rolling, has
Okay.
been rolling. I mean, I thought about this months ago, honestly, and had started doing a little research on it then. But I would send this off to the attorney tomorrow and then have him review it and have a conversation with him about the other things I've sent him, talk about a schedule of time. If it feels like, this Citizen Bill of Rights is going to be a much longer-term process, then we could potentially just go ahead and adopt this as a standalone addition to the code.
Well,
Or entertain, I'm getting ahead of myself here, entertain passing this or adopting it. But it'll be, again, a public hearing. We represent the public.
Right.
So generally speaking, if there's strong sentiment about something and our attorneys say it's something we can do, then it gets done.
So I guess we'll hear from you then.
Yes,
All right,
absolutely.
great. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
All right, thank you,
Can
Art.
you just, you said other towns have it. Do you know offhand what other towns just around? Is
Well,
there any
actually,
around
I
here?
had to say that the attorney who wrote this said that he had taken these from other towns. So I don't know whether there's. I do know that the city of Hudson has recently passed first by order from the police department signed by the mayor. For this, and then now they have taken basically the same statute. And I think I sent you a copy of that, Richard.
Yeah.
Of that statute to their town council for approval to embed it into their constitution. I guess I'm not sure whether it was a city constitution or what they have, but that is in place in the city of Hudson.
Okay.
Now, where he got this other, I think he said he looked at several different ordinances, but I will find that out for you.
No, just,
and-
I just
and
thought if you
let-
had a
let you
town,
know,
I'd
but,
take a
I
look
think
at
that
it and
it's-
see how they did
It
it.
is something that has obviously, come up, and now there is a law before the state, for state, sanctuary state, and it's now passed the assembly, and now is waiting to go before the Senate, but I don't know whether it will pass there or not, but I think that, I believe something like this is best done at the local level and working its way up. And I think that, in conferring with some people here, the idea of passing it here, maybe taking it to Kent, maybe taking it to Peekskill, Beacon, and then moving it out, well, in this county, and then moving it up the county. I know it's a hard county to probably pass something like this in, given that it's sort of Republican nature, but maybe not. I mean, for me, I don't look at this as in a bipartisan, in a partisan way. I think that the people that we're talking about protecting, whether it be immigrants or whether it be, people of color or whatever the case may be, I think that that's a nonpartisan issue. I think that, it's something we really ultimately want to protect in this country.
Absolutely, and I think it needs to be recognized. Absolutely.
Sends a good message to the schools, too. It's a good overall thing to do for a community.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll send this off to Steve Gaba tomorrow, and he'll take a look at this along with the other things I've sent to him previously, and then we'll be getting back with you, see how we're going to move ahead, and bring it out to the public in what form. But we'll get you the format before we bring it out so you guys can take a look at it. All right, thank you. Anything else from the audience? Oh, now you do.
Now you do.
You reminded me, the Indian Brook Road thing, we're going to be coming into the spring season here. I spoke with now Sergeant Quick from the Sheriff's Department. He would like to sit down with us and have a workshop discussing, there's some parts of the law that he thinks we could change that would give him some more authority down there. So we could schedule
We want to
some.
do that as a whole board, or do you want to do that as a couple
I spoke to him about doing it as a workshop, and he
All right.
said he would certainly be interested in
That's
sitting
fine.
down.
Want to do
So
it next week?
I'll call him and see if he's available next
So
Wednesday.
tentatively next Wednesday?
I'm sorry, this is an Indian Brook parking situation?
Yes.
If that's the case, we should definitely make people on Indian Brook aware of this.
Yeah, but let's be proactive about it so we don't wind up with the nightmare we had last year. Well,
No, I'm just, I don't know if it'd be enough time for everyone to be notified in the paper.
if we're going to have a workshop with a sheriff to improve the law,
I think that can be done
yeah,
kind of individually, but
He pointed out a couple problems with the law, the way it's written, the parking. So he said that, some simple changes could allow him
well,
some more.
let's do it. If we can improve it, let's
Yep.
do it. Okay. Tentatively, if he can make it.
Yep.
Vacancies, Planning Board 1, Conservation Board 1. So we're going to have to, are we advertising for these positions?
We have for the Conservation Board, yes.
So should we authorize you to re-advertise? Can we authorize the clerk to re-advertise for positions for Planning Board and Conservation Board?
I so moved to.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye.
Can we go through old applicants and just contact
Yeah,
them and say?
absolutely.
Is that something that,
No, if you want to take a look, I would,
Is it-
I would love you to do that.
sure, or is it something Tara or?
I'd like to volunteer for the planning board.
Okay, send a
Okay,
letter.
there you go.
Cool.
You're on. That's what
You're on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just, hey,
Find
I'm
out all the
interested,
details.
signed Eric, that's all we need.
All right, if you could send in a letter of interest and any pertinent qualifications, that would be swell. Approval of vouchers, general.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote aye. Highway,
so moved.
second.
Second.
All in favor? While we're on highway, can we talk to Carl about the issue we talked about with the sand purchase?
Yeah.
Um,
I'll speak to him again.
Because if that's going to take a change to a resolution to change the purchase agreement, because that's, to me, that's just crazy. I mean, and we got to have a sit down and just talk about that in general next year.
Yeah, you need to factor in not just the price of the material, but getting the
Transportation, labor,
material.
fuel costs, wear and tear on vehicles.
Going
Yeah,
Across the river.
we're going
Poughkeepsie.
to Poughkeepsie
For-
for sand.
Yeah,
I
but
believe.
They're going across Rockland County too for sand.
Well, we could get it at West Hook
I know.
Or Thale.
Or Thale,
or get somebody else to deliver it.
yeah. tractor trailer.
Conner Village Park District,
So moved.
second.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye,
Conner Village Water District,
so moved,
second.
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Done.
Good job, less than an hour.